Hello, everyone. Hope you had a fabulous spring break and you are well rested and ready to attack the final week of this unit. This lab is a little confusing, so I'm going to do a lecture on it so you have a little better idea of what you're looking at. The notes that I am using will be posted on the web, on Google Classroom, so you can follow along as I go through this or use it as a reference. The lab itself has a lot of reading material with it that you should read and use to help complete the lab. This is going to take a lot of self-reliance on your part. All the literature is there, all the background information is there, but you're going to have to work a little bit to understand these concepts. So Sordaria is a type of fungus that is in a lot of animals, and it's different than humans in that its primary existence is in the haploid stage. A lot of times we think of life according to us, and in our world, we think of everything as the primary life stage being diploid. However, Sordaria, the primary life stage is a haploid. So this shows you right here, this is Sordaria spores in a petri dish. Now we're not going to be able to put them in a petri dish, so I have some cards that will also be posted with the lab that you're going to have to look at and be able to see the extent of crossover. This is a really cool lab in that we are able to directly see examples of crossing over. Remember, that exists in meiosis, prophase 1 of meiosis, and the crossing over, and you have the synapsis linkage happening. The synapse forms, and there's an exchange of genes. What's cool about the Sordaria is we can actually see it, because the spores will change colors if crossing over has occurred. So it's a very easy way to map it. Okay, so sporophyte versus gametophyte. Again, this is the idea. Most humans, we live primarily in the sporophyte stage, okay? And that's the 2N, all right? The sporophyte is the diploid stage where the spores are produced. The gametophyte is where we have the haploid stage. You need to know these words for your test. Gametophyte, again, is the haploid stage. Remember, it's a gamete, and it's represented by this number N. 2N is the sporophyte, 2N. And that's your diploid stage. And all eukaryotic organisms will have this alternation of generation. Okay, so the Sordaria, this is where we look at their unique life cycle. The Sordaria is a haploid for most of its life. And when you have now I'm probably slaughtering these words, mycelium from two individuals meet, you will get the diploid, the 2N. So here, if you look, this is all haploid. Haploid, we've got spores getting discharged. We have a mitotic division in the haploid. It's part of the haploid stage, so this is going to be confusing, but after meiosis, we have a mitotic division. Hang with me, we're going to explain all this later. We have this little minor phase of a diploid where we have the two mycelium coming together, and then immediately a meiosis, and then a mitosis, and that's how we get the double amount of spores. If I've lost you, don't freak out. We're going to go through this little by little. All right, so there's a lot of words that are used that can kind of confuse you right off the bat. The word asci are these spores, okay? Let me see if nope, I didn't. I'm sorry, I went back there. But so the asci, or the ascus is the singular form. Basically, ascospores are, when they mature, they mature in these little things called asci, okay? And you have a bunch of asci growing together in this big reproductive structure called the perithecium. The perithecium is this whole thing. It's like the big flower. It's kind of like a big ball of stuff. And then each individual one of these little strands that looks like a bean kind of with the individual spores in them is called an ascus. So in one perithecium, you have a ton of ascus. And with one ascus, you have 8 total spores developing. Hopefully that makes some sense. Remember, these are all haploid. Okay? All right, so this shows you this reproductive structure. This is the perithecium right here. And then you see the ascus, and they didn't really follow the rules and stay exactly in line, but you can see this is the drawing. This is the actual version, okay? And you can see the little ascospores inside the ascus, and there's bunches of ascus in one perithecium. Okay, it's like, I don't know if you've ever gone on hikes and you see this ball of something and you blow it open, and there's all these little things that come out of it. That's kind of what this is an example of. All right, so the wild type, or what we're going to say we call the wild type, is the black color, okay, of these spores. And if you had 2 black asci spores coming together, then the cross will basically 2 black strains is going to produce all black spores. So all 8 of the spores in the asci will be black. The mutant is what we call the tan spores. And if you bred 2 tan spores together, then you would end up with all tan spores in each asci. So you would have 8 tan spores. And what this is showing, again, this is the perithecium. So you're going to see tons of asci in here, okay? And these asci, again, these are what your cards are going to look like, except we're doing a cross. So you're going to have tan and black spores. Okay, so now let's take a look at crossing over in Sordaria. Sordaria will cross over when 2 different, basically, colors or strains come together, the black and the tan, because crossing over occurs, right? If it didn't occur, we're going to show you what it would look like. And sometimes it doesn't. And if it does occur, you can see the direct evidence in how these spores are aligned. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is one ascus right here. And these would be considered black in color. Then you have 2 tans, 2 blacks, 2 tans. Here's another ascus, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, if you look, you have 2 blacks, 2 tans, 2 tans, 2 blacks. Okay? That just shows you right there, there's different arrangements in how these spores are. This is how we can tell the difference if crossing over has occurred or not. If no crossing over occurs, you're going to have a different arrangement of these than if crossing over does occur. Okay, so the non-crossover asci, this is showing you right here, you're going to have, so this is the confusing part. You have meiosis right here, okay? So the plus is indicative of the wild type, and the TN represents the tan. Now, something that's kind of hard to understand at first is the gene is down here at the very end of the chromosome. This is an entire chromosome, and what this is showing is this is the gene. Now, they show in the picture of it changing the color of the total chromosome. That's showing you it's changing the color of the total spore. So here it is in meiosis, and you have these guys lining up as they do during metaphase 1 of meiosis. Then they split, right? The homologous chromosomes split in meiosis 1. In meiosis 2, we have the sister chromatids splitting. Okay, so now we have the spores showing up. Again, this is the haploid phase, even though they all live together, just like, they're separate. all your sperm lives together, all your eggs live together, but they're separate cells, okay? And if crossing over doesn't occur, the spores would be arranged, and this is showing you 2 whites and 2 blacks. But if you think about what I showed you in the other slide, we were counting 8 spores, because this is what happens that makes this even more confusing. We have a mitotic division after meiosis. So we get 2 more haploid from the 1 haploid. So we end up with a total of 8. This black guy got kind of cut off, but you end up with a total of 8 spores because of this extra mitotic division after meiosis, okay? And this is showing if it was arranged correctly, you would have all the whites together, 4 of them, all the blacks together, 4 of them. And it could be either like this with the white on top or like this with the black on top. And this is showing you what it would look like if crossing over didn't occur. And remember, this is a drawing. Down here, it's showing you what would happen if crossing over occurred. And you see the spore arrangement is a little bit different. Okay, I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to start it, but I just want to make it where the download isn't too much.